We have learned how to integrate ratio of two polynomials. Let us practice this new knowledge using this simple example. We want to integrate 11 minus 2x divided by x squared plus x minus 2. So first we want to decompose this fraction into partial fractions. As the first step, we want to rewrite the quadratic polynomial in the denominator as a product of two brackets. That means we want to solve the equation x squared plus x minus 2 is equal to 0. Well, we can compute the discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac, which is 1, minus minus is plus, 4 times 2 is 8, which is 9. So the first root is minus b plus square root of d divided by 2a, which is minus 1, plus square root of 9 is 3 divided by 2, which is 2 divided by 2 is 1, and the second root is minus b minus square root of d divided by 2a, which is minus 1 minus 3 divided by 2, which is minus 4 divided by 2, which is minus 2. So we can write this quadratic polynomial x squared plus x minus 2 as x minus the first root times x minus the second root, which is x minus 1 times x minus minus 2, which is x plus 2. In the case when there is a different coefficient, different than 1, at the quadratic term, we write the coefficient in front of these brackets if there is just 1x and 1x. Now we can decompose this fraction into partial fractions. Namely, we want to write 11 minus 2x divided by the quadratic polynomial, which we know already that is equal to x minus 1 times x minus 2. And we want to write it as some coefficient. We don't know the value yet, so we write some symbols, some numbers, some parameter, divided by the first bracket plus another coefficient divided by the second bracket. Well, this looks like a bad problem. We have one equation for two unknowns. But the good news is that we want to satisfy this not just for some special values of x, but rather for all real x, possibly different from 1 and minus 2. So if we multiply by the denominators to get rid of the fractions, we arrive at a simple equation. 11 minus 2x is 8 times the bracket x plus 2 plus b times the bracket x minus 1. At this point we have two possibilities, two choices, two ways. First, we can consider special values of x to find a and b, or alternatively, a more general approach, we can compare the coefficients at various powers of x on the left and on the right. Let us try both ways to see how it works and hopefully coming to the same result. I prefer the first, the special way, which is slightly less general, but in cases like that, more efficient, just faster. If x is equal to 1, so let's try the first way. For the special value x is equal to 1, this is a good value because then this bracket vanishes. We have a times 1 plus 2 is 3. That was on the right. And on the left we have, if x is 1, we have 11 minus 2, which is 9. And from this we see that x is 3. And for the special value x is minus 2, Minus 2 is good because then this bracket vanishes. And then on the right we have minus 2, minus 1, which is minus 3b. And on the left, when x is minus 2, this is 4 plus 11, 15. That means b is minus 5. Let me check this with my preparation. A is 3, b is minus 5. That looks good. So now we can put these values for a and b here and here, and we can integrate. But before we proceed, let me show you the other way. So that was the first way, and let's show the second way, the more general approach. So we expand this multiplication and we collect the terms with fixed powers of x. So first, if we expand this multiplication, we have ax plus 2a, and from the second term, b plus bx minus b. And on the left or on the right, we have 11 minus 2x. That was just expanding this multiplication. And now we collect the terms with x. And we have a plus b from the first and from the third term. And then we have the terms without b, namely 2a minus b. And on the left, we are writing minus 2x plus 11. And this is equation between two polynomials. Two polynomials are equal if the coefficients at particular powers of x on the left and on the right agree. So if we compare the powers of x2, or the coefficients at x to 1, then on the left we have a plus b, and on the right we have minus 2. And then we compare the terms without x. That means x to 0, sometimes called absolute terms, but not to be confused with absolute value. It has nothing to do with absolute value. So the term without x is 2a minus b on the left and 11 on the right. If we have polynomials of high order, then we compare the coefficients at x squared on the left, on the right, x cubed on the left, on the right, and so on, and we get more equations. We should get the number of equations equal to the number of unknowns, the number of the unknown parameters. Here we have two parameters, a and b, and two equations. We will learn at the end of the semester how to solve equations like that if they are larger. But for simple case like that, we can use some naive approach. One alternative is to express a or b from one equation and substitute to the other. Another approach, sometimes faster, is to add the equations, possibly multiplied by a suitable constant, to reduce, to remove one variable. And here you have plus b minus b, so if we add these two equations, then b disappears, and we have just a single equation for a single unknown a. And we have a plus 2a is 3a, plus b minus b is 0. And if we add the right hand side, we have 9. So that means that a is 3 again, in agreement with our first way. And now when we have the value for a, we can find b either from this equation or from this one. If we choose the first equation, then b is minus 2 minus a, which is minus 2, minus 3, which is minus 5. Yeah, it looks good. The same value as before. So once again, if we want to find the coefficients, we have two possible approaches. Either we choose some special values for x, so that these brackets up to just 1, all of them disappear, or we can expand the multiplication and compare the coefficients of x and solve the system of equations. So at this point, when we know that a is 3 and b is minus 5, we can go back to this point and we use this decomposition into partial fractions. And then the integrated function can be written in this form where a and b are already known constants. So if we call this as capital F, the antiderivative to this function, then we can proceed. Capital F is integral of a, which is 3, divided by x minus 1, plus b, which is minus 5, divided by x plus 2. And this is easy to integrate a fraction like that. The integral of 1 over x is logarithm of the absolute value of x. If we shift by 1, then instead of x we have x minus 1. And if we multiply by 3, the result is multiplied by 3. So the result is 3 times logarithm absolute value x minus 1 minus 5 logarithm absolute value x plus 2 plus c. And this is the antiderivative. This is the integral of this function using partial fraction decomposition.